Welcome to iHeartGeek.
And welcome to a special edition of iHeartGeek flagship, but no, so not special, but special.
Not special? Now we're not special.
No, it's special. It's special for you.
I've been told I'm special.
Well,
we're pretty
because you rode a
special.
short bus.
I did.
Because that's the way teachers do it, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Short
saying
bus.
he's in special education?
I didn't say that, but if you would like to draw that conclusion, you may.
You know what?
In
No,
my
I don't
defense, I did go to LA Union School District, so that would probably consider me special.
What was your mascot? What is LA Union? The LA Union
Oh no, actually I went to Palmdale High, which we are the Falcons.
The Falcons. That's
But
a cool mascot.
I was a part of the LA County the Union School District.
Gotcha.
Where surprisingly enough, 900 freshmen started, 258 graduated.
Wow.
That's a whittling down. That's a
I'm
thinning.
not a smart man.
Well, I think that may change one of the questions later that we're going to discuss in a minute. So right now, we just so everyone is aware, we are talking about teaching Geek, passing on your passions, and just being a regular teacher. iHeartGeek today is brought to you by Standardized Testing, where no one wins.
Nice.
So let me talk about the panel real quick. Over to my left, we have my good buddy, Mr. Winchester. How are you today?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. You ready to be taught?
I want to learn. I'm here to learn. That's what I'm doing. I'm here to learn.
And to the other side of the table, we have my good buddy, my favorite curmudgeon, Mr. PB&Jason. How you doing, bud?
Shut up. I'm trying to remember something here. I'm incredibly frustrated, and I still haven't remembered.
Remember I said curmudgeon? Okay, and then
It's a good word.
to the other side of the table, which is about, I think, 1,400 to 1,600 miles from me, I think, somewhere in there.
Approximately, yes. The math, yeah, something like that.
we have a longtime show favorite, Carrie Schultens. How you doing?
Hello, it's good to see you guys. Nice to finally
Let me
meet
just
some
say
of you.
the bar is raised very high because you're joining us on this show.
Oh my God!
That's all I have to
Stop
say.
it! Stop!
Oh, you love it, and that's why you keep coming on.
Stop
Shut up.
with an AH. Stop.
So, today we're talking education in general. I don't know what I was expecting when I wrote this in the first place. I'm like, well, is it passing on Geek? Is it just being a teacher? So I just kind of
Was it an education of a script?
Yes,
Did you learn something as you were writing this?
I learned some stuff, actually. I learned that I shouldn't write an education script without thinking about it first a lot more.
I don't know. I don't know any teachers nearby that you could have got some advice from.
Oh, well, I know a few. And in fact, 2 of them canceled on me.
Well, I mean one nearby, like literally virtually nearby.
Virtually nearby, yes. So why are you on this show? We usually talk your voice acting, and it's
Right.
awesome. But why are we talking to you today with this, Carrie?
I think you guys are talking to me today because, in addition to the voice acting, I am also a high school teacher. I teach algebra and geometry.
Oh, so you're way smarter than any of us.
Oh, I am not. I just know the circumference of a circle, so it's very
Pi?
niche.
Or something?
What's that?
Pi?
What's that? Oh, it's 2
Pi
pi
r
r.
squared?
to be
Yeah.
able to be
Are you serving pie?
Yeah, I like pie.
I like pie.
I mean, if only. I tell my kids all the time, I said, man, if I was rich, I would bring in pie so often, but I'm just not.
May I ask, actually, why math?
Honestly, my major is biology education,
Wow.
and my minor is math ed. I'm the only math ed minor in my department, and I catch a fair amount of sass for it. But math, honestly, I got because I knew it would get me a job, and I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and frankly, I didn't really care what I was teaching. I just knew I wanted to teach.
Is the biology department like that big of a... I mean, there's many people that go into that. It's a hard department to get into, or
it's well, I mean, at my school, it's just kind of wherever it's open. But as far as the major, the degree, it's a little harder. I mean, with math, the way math is, you can get a math degree and be certified to teach any math. So, like,
Really?
I could teach calc, I could teach advanced algebra, regular algebra, geometry. I could
Which
teach
is why
anything.
they say the fallback is the teaching degree.
wait.
Right,
What's
right. Well,
calculus?
and exactly, because it's so varied. With science, it's a little bit more, I hate to use this word again because I'm going to sound pretentious, it's a little more niche. Like, you have to get it's biology, for example, is my degree, so I can't teach earth science. I can't teach astronomy.
Okay.
It has to be biology. So it's a little bit more pigeonholing that way. So honestly, I got biology because it's what I really did like, and my dad's a biology teacher.
Yeah.
And then math, I got it kind of as an afterthought because I knew it would help get me a job. So
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Okay, so let's move on from that educational stuff and move right into the game show.
Perfect.
Here's a generic game show for you.
Okay, on this edition of the game show, we're doing a lot of random questions having to do with teaching, education, and just a couple of just brain teasers to start with. So everyone wrote down their answers, so I will know if they're cheating. So just so everyone is aware, everybody gets a crack at all these answers, so no steals. I know
No
Jason's
steals.
upset, so... Okay, so our first question for 1 point. A farmer has 17 sheep. All but 9 die. How many sheep does he have left, Winchester?
8.
No, Carrie.
He has 9.
Very good. Jason.
9.
9. 1 point. All but 9
All
died.
but 9.
I don't know math.
I don't math's good.
Here's a great test. Chris has 3 beers.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink all of them. How many do I have left?
Well, it depends how many you're going to drop in the toilet when you're done.
That's a good point.
There you go. Okay, our second question. What state ranked first in education, Winchester?
I'm just going to go hometown and say California.
After what you said? No.
I know.
Carrie?
My guess was Massachusetts.
That would be a correct guess.
Yes!
I said New Jersey.
Jersey? Really?
They're actually in the top
Is it
5,
'cause
I'm
of the
sure.
toxic waste?
No, they're actually probably
No, they're
in
number
the
3, actually.
Yeah, I knew
Does
they were
Jersey
up there.
rank 3? Does Jersey rank first in anything?
Sorry, I remembered it.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Next question up. What state ranks last for education in the United States?
I'm just going to go the one state I don't like, Texas.
No, they're
Okay.
higher, actually. Carrie?
My guess was Nevada.
Nope. We are pretty low, but nope.
Well, we were, but maybe we're not now. I had Nevada too.
New Mexico.
Oh.
New Mexico.
They just don't like schooling, do they?
No.
And then the
Schooling's
final
hard.
question, as far as this goes, what ranked 25th? I just had to throw that in.
Nevada.
No, but that would have been good.
Well, that's what I figured you put it in
Harry?
there for, but
Michigan?
Nope.
Michigan.
Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. What an egg noodle
Missouri.
state. Of course, they're 25th.
That's controversial there, what you just said.
Missouri?
Yeah.
It's an
Missouri.
I. It's Missouri.
That's
My grandma,
almost
who was
as
from
pretentious as me
Missouri-
saying
Soft eye.
niche.
My grandma, who was from Missouri, called it Missouri, so yes.
Okay. Well, just like we say Nevada, not Nevada. Anybody that says Nevada, go away. Okay.
You don't get to live here.
Okay, here's... actually, we'll do that one last. For 4 points, name the 4 types of learners.
visual,
Yes? Okay.
audio.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know any of those.
Okay, so I'll give you 2 points on that. Carrie, why don't you educate us?
I also said I got 3 that I know for sure, and it was
Okay.
visual, auditory, kinetic,
Yep.
or like touching, and then I said verbal, but I don't know if that's different than auditory.
Nope, that's I'll get to it in a sec. Jason?
Tactile, which is basically kinetic.
Okay, I'll give you
Visual.
that. Okay.
I had linear, which probably
Nope.
is not it. And then I had sound, which should be count because that's
Yep,
auditory.
So that's 2.
It's 3.
3.
Okay. So the actual ones are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and reading / writing.
Reading and writing is okay. That's fair. That's fair.
That's the internet. So
Oh, yeah. What'd you get off
yeah.
Facebook?
I got it on Wikipedia. Okay, this is for 12 points, kids. According to TeachHub.com, name the top 12 movies about teachers that all teachers should watch. Let's start with you, Mr. Winchester.
Why? Lean on Me,
That's one.
obviously. Pardon me. Dead Poet Society.
Oh,
Good Will Hunting.
No.
Then I quit.
Okay. Well, it's
wow,
okay,
that's
you're
a
in
really
last.
good one.
I have no. Yeah.
Carrie,
got-
what's your 12?
I didn't get 12, but I got Lean on Me,
Yes.
Dangerous Minds,
That was the name of the Coolio movie.
Freedom Riders.
No.
Really?
What?
was
It's not on there.
It's a good movie.
Stand and Deliver.
Yes.
What's coolest?
Great Debaters.
Nope.
And I said Hoosiers because I didn't know.
Nope. Okay, so you got 3.
I got
Jason,
3.
you could possibly win this one.
Um,
Off a teacher.
well, I got 11.
Okay.
So I'm sure some of them are wrong. I am proud to say though that at the final hour I remembered "Lean on Me."
Oh, that's when
So
you screamed.
That's when I screamed.
Yeah,
yes, 'cause
screamed
I
and
finally
scared everybody.
Scared
in the
everybody,
house.
and will scare everybody when they drop this episode too. Blackboard Jungle,
No.
Back to School,
No.
Was that an adult movie?
A Beautiful Mind,
No.
Really?
Goodwill Hunting,
No.
Dead Poet Society,
Yes.
The Principal,
No.
the Richard Dreyfuss movie where he was a music teacher that I can't remember the name of that one either.
I know that
Mr.
one.
Holland's Opus.
That was the correct answer, but you didn't have the answer.
Oh,
Can I have it just because I knew the name and nobody else?
You get a half a point.
School of Rock,
Wow,
Yes.
what a harsh teacher.
The Karate Kid,
No.
Stand and Deliver.
Yes.
That's it. That's 11 that I
Oh,
had.
so we have a tie.
Whoa!
Carrie and Jason tied this
I'm
one.
high-fiving the screen. Here it comes.
That's fair. Boom.
Okay,
I like it.
in case anyone was curious, the top 12 are Dead Poet Society, a 1984 movie named Teachers, never heard of it, Half Nelson, Stand and Deliver, To Be, and To Have. It's some French movie.
Great.
Mr. Holland's Opus,
Which I technically had, but I guess didn't have.
Remember the Titans? Lean on Me?
Wait,
Yep.
no,
That's what they called.
That's absolute. If you don't have like Goodwill Hunting in there, you can't have.
Goodwill Hunting isn't about a teacher. It's about a psychologist.
Yeah, but
No, it's
remember
not,
the
yeah.
Titans is about a football team, not a teacher.
It's a high school football team.
Yes.
Yeah. School of Rock, October Sky. Oh, we just saw Carrie just literally kick herself in the head. That's amazing.
It was bad. I should have gotten October Sky. Son of a gun. That's a science teacher movie, too. Crap.
Chalk. I don't know if anybody's seen that one. And finally, Dangerous Minds.
I got that one.
Okay.
Wow.
Couldn't stand the most of love living in. Sorry.
Sing
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know anything else.
I'm impressed.
I
though.
just know who played in the movies.
Okay.
I got some watching to do.
So, Carrie, this is just for. I mean, we can all chime in, but this is really for you. But kind of what are the pros and cons of being a teacher?
There's a lot more pros than cons, in my opinion.
Okay.
I guess I get the con out of the way. That's the easiest one. It's the pay. I mean, it's really hard to make a living on a teacher's salary. And I mean, I live by myself. I don't have a family to support. Teachers that I know that have a family to support more often than not work a second job. And Bill Maher was on the other day talking about how teaching shouldn't have to be a side gig.
Yeah.
And,
No, it shouldn't.
You know, I
Absolutely
do
not.
kind of agree with that. I do all kinds of other things to make extra money. I coach, I tutor, I do my voice stuff, I sell my plasma. Like, it's, truly.
Your plasma
Yeah.
screen TV, yeah.
That's where we're at. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the big con, but there's, like I said, there's so many pros. Just getting to talk to the kids. Like I never try to use their lingo, but at least I know their lingo.
Yeah.
And like,
that's important.
Getting to know what they're into and what's hip, quote unquote. That's not their lingo, but
You just said hip. That makes you so old. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry.
oh, big time. Oh my god. But you know, just
wrong with hip?
getting to talk to them and getting to learn and just kind of remember like what are their hopes and fears at this age, you know, and kind of, you know, remembering what that's like for me and for us. And, you know, I think that's the big important thing, getting to see their triumphs and downfalls, and you see them 6 hours a day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, getting a chance to form that relationship is really, really meaningful.
Well, some of the, just because you brought that up a little bit, something that I noticed between a teacher and a good teacher is they're not necessarily trying to be friends with the students, but as much as you're trying to teach them the subject, you're trying to make them better people as far as personally in their lives. How do you draw that line? Because I think that's where we see a lot of teachers go a little loopy with the trying to find that line between personal and mentor, I guess.
I always just tell the kids, I'm going to be friendly with you, but I'm not your buddy. I mean, I'm being friendly without being your friend, quote unquote. I just think little things are important. Like if anybody ever calls me Schultens, it's important they call me Miss Schultens, and I make sure that they know that. And it's just a little thing, but those kinds of things matter. And just, it's, again, talking to them about the things they care about and connecting with them on that level, while at the same time they have to understand that I am beyond that now, Yeah. So it's passing on your wisdom, I think, is as good a way as any to let them know that you're on a different level.
Yeah.
Quote,
well, you should be.
Yeah. Ms. Schultens?
Yes.
I have a question. And an observation. I found in my own education that the best teachers were not always necessarily the nicest ones, but they were the ones with the most enthusiasm about the subject.
100%.
Right. Would you describe yourself as that being your greatest strength in your educating?
I think enthusiasm, period. Math was my hardest subject in school, and now that I'm teaching it, it's kind of been an asset for me, because I think sometimes when you're teaching a certain subject that you understand everything about, like think of something that you totally get, you could talk for hours on it with no preparation, think of something like that. If somebody asked you to explain this to me because I don't get it, that would be hard for you, because it's like you just can't, it's like, well, it's just the way that it is. How do you not understand? So I think that my having struggled with math when I was their age really helps. And I kind of try to convey that to them. Like, yeah, it's hard. Like, you're just going to have to kind of practice and get through it. And I think meeting them on that level is really important. And the enthusiasm piece is important as well.
Excellent.
So how would you deal with a kid that you can't relate on a personal level at all? They don't like what you're teaching about. You don't have any connection at all. How do you deal with a student like that? Because everyone's got those teachers and everyone's got those students, I'm sure.
So they're there to be because they have to be there.
They're there because they have to be, and you can't connect. How do you do that?
Well, and there are just going to be some horses that don't drink. And I think that, I really try, if nothing else, to make a connection with my kids, like I've been talking about. And you can almost always find something to relate to the kid about, whether it's movies or games or sometimes, God forbid, it's the subject or, just sports or who knows. I mean, it's having varied interests is important. But if there's one kid that you just can't get to, that's why it's important that there's a team. I teach in a school district where we have, I think, 7 math teachers. So you rely then on another teacher to be able to make that connection. And I think that's life. You're not going to get along with all your bosses, but maybe somebody you don't get along with will get along with somebody else near you. And in the workplace or in school, I think that'll happen. So I will say my percentage of getting to know them is pretty freaking high.
Nice.
But
we've discussed this in previous episodes, but I'd like to expound on it a little bit. Do you use your geek cred much to get through to the kids? Because I know you can't talk too much at the school level on what you do, but you can talk enough. How do you, where do you draw the line? And because you're semi-famous and all that. You're freaking Laura Croft. Bite me.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, it's just getting to, I think my dad and I talk about this a lot, and we decide, the more of yourself you share with them, the better off you are. So I talk freely to them about games I'm playing or voice stuff that I'm doing and things like that. We were talking the other day, my kids and I were talking the other day about about accents and how Midwest people have one, whether we think we do or not.
Yep, you do.
And
Don't
talking
you know?
through our nose.
You betcha.
Yeah, you betcha there, eh?
Oh wow, I'm scared.
But
okay.
it's like what's her face from Fargo, right? It's like, oh yeah. It's bad. But I talk to him about how when I'm doing the audiobooks and stuff, how important it is to bring it back a little bit, and they're just interested in that stuff. They want to know about you.
Oh,
and I think letting them in to a certain extent it's important. So.
Sweet.
But but going back, where do you draw the line? Because you have to have your personal life too, because you don't want kids looking you up and blah blah blah.
Right. I don't friend kids on social media. I don't allow followers on social media. My kids joke they want my gamer tag in the worst way for PlayStation, and I said, bruh, people have been trying to get this out of me for 4 years now, and I'm a rock. You can't get there.
Nice.
And they're like, well, why? And I said, well, if you ever see me on multiplayer, I don't want you to realize that it's me who's been like swearing or something. And,
which I'm sure you do a little
like,
bit. I've talked
they
to
laugh.
you. We know.
Oh yeah, exactly. They laugh and they're like, okay, Miss Schultens, and then that's the end of it. So, but I mean, I think that drawing boundaries is important too. If only for a respect factor.
Yeah, well, because otherwise it's hard to be Miss Schultens versus being Carrie.
Exactly. You have to maintain a professional distance, and I think that's hard for some people. And I think that it's important that is taught in education school, and it is. It's frankly something that made sense to me, so I didn't really listen to that part. But people need to be told certain things, and that's
Indeed.
important.
Okay, we're going to play musical chairs here for a second, and because Carrie doesn't want anything to do with us because it hurts my feelings, I'm just kidding, we're going to do our Who Beats Who.
Here's a generic game show for you.
Okay, we were just playing musical chairs, and now it's time to do our votes for Who Beats Who.
Do we have to do this one?
We do.
Is it necessary?
Not really.
Do we got to rub this one into, open sore wounds and watch someone writhe and squirm? And
that guy would be you, right?
I don't know. Do you like Spawn? Do you like Spawn?
I might as well just vote for him.
You could right now be on the winning team.
The one who does the first complete blowout.
One of us. One of us.
Yes, we almost did last time, and I chose not to because I was trying to help out the other guy.
Come join the Hell Spawn.
Okay, well, let's do this real quick. It is Spawn versus Ben 10. Mr. Ben Tennyson, which
Katie, why aren't you here for this Who Beats Who? I know who
she
you
would have went Spawn too.
No, she wouldn't have.
I think she would have.
No, she wouldn't have.
Okay. Anyway, so we have our internet votes, which was Twitter and Facebook. Very
dominantly slaughtered
dominantly
Ben 10.
Spawn. So we have two for Spawn. Winchester, who for some reason isn't sitting here, even though he's on this episode. That's kind of weird. He also proxied his vote for Spawn.
Sure he did. That's why he's not here.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So
he didn't want the angry stares from me again. Before.
This is a no-brainer. Spawn's my guy, and I think he's pretty close to unbeatable, so I'm giving it to Spawn. There's really no discussion here. Do you have anything to say on this, Kosh?
Burrito, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, give me a vote, Mr. Burrito.
Oh, Spawn.
Okay.
Al Simmons.
Al Simmons. Very good. That was nice.
Right?
Okay, so, Jason, we have a chance here to for the first time ever, have a unanimous decision on Who Beats Who.
No.
You might as well join the winning. How would it feel?
No.
How would it feel to go home as a winner instead of as a loser?
No.
I'm just curious.
No. I will never compromise my standards of voting for my own competitor in a Who Beats Who.
Okay, do you want to say why he'd win?
You could have... I don't even know. I always use Teddy Ruxpin as my example, but I don't know. Mickey Mouse could be taking on Spawn, and I would find a way to logically vote for Mickey.
Did you really find a logical way to do this?
Yes.
Okay, fire away.
Spawn's powers are finite. So would Ben 10's monsters, which could handle whatever Spawn could throw at him, okay? Would Ben 10's monsters outlast Spawn's magic?
Yes.
My question is,
yes.
Or my answer is yes. Ben 10's monsters would.
No.
10 monsters against Spawn's finite magic.
I think we're okay.
Maybe Spawn destroys 9 of them.
He's rushing so hard.
But that 10th monster takes him out when the finite magic, needs to be recharged.
This is like the kid falling down the well, just grasping for anything to stop him.
So my proud, confident, loser vote is for Ben 10.
Okay.
So how did I do?
With that passion, we have Spawn doing like 1 million votes and Ben 10 getting 1. So I think
So Ben 10 won is what you're saying.
Ben 10 got 1. Got 1. See now
yes, he's got 1 monster left.
He's got,
and he takes Spawn out with
He's
it.
got one vote, and that monster is Jason.
We should have had just people wait for the next episode.
Well, it looks like I'm out of this one. I lost Aang in round 1 thanks to Winchester. And now I've lost Ben 10 thanks to the rest of you.
Okay. Well, hey, there's hope. Maybe Light Force will take it in the next round. That's kind of yours.
Maybe.
Okay. And back to the regular schedule.
Who's he taking on? Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty.
See. We'll see.
Okay, welcome back to your seat. Thanks for running off for a second there, Carrie. You're awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and Winchester, it's amazing. You proxy to vote, and you're right back.
Yeah, I know. I do little weird things like that. I just pop up here and there.
Okay, so what I really want to ask, this is kind of involving, us as geeks, with your friends, acquaintances, whatever, and what is an organized way to pass on your geek obsessions to, the people you know and love and don't love, and how do you organize your thoughts? Because I could talk about Superman, and I can talk about how he's from Krypton, and how do you slow down and organize your thoughts enough to not throw in the weird stuff and just the interesting stuff to people?
That it takes a fair amount of, you said it, organization. I mean, it's you've gotta ease them in slowly. I find like think of I know Game of Thrones is obviously huge, but I know several people who are not into it at all, and so it's kind of like an infection vector thing. You're just like, oh hey, come over here and watch this. It's cool. There's battles and there's strong female protagonists. Aren't you interested? And then you have to get them into all the frickin' family lineage stuff and all the stuff that kind of show would entail, because it's that show specifically is a steak, and you got to eat it one little bite at a time.
Yeah. Well, Jason, do you?
Well, I was going to say, because you brought up a good point, and then you went yuck. See, there's no universal. There's never going to be a universal way to do it, because there are people who love long lineages of family history. I love that. I love that stuff. I don't yick that stuff. But there might be other aspects of that. There are certainly aspects of the television show that I yicked at enough to where I'm not watching it. But in the books, Song of Ice and Fire books up to where we are, I loved those. I loved the, a lot of the going back into I love going back in the past. I mean, I'm a huge Tolkien guy, so I love family history and elven history and all that. But yeah, I don't know if there is a universal way. I mean, you could host a fan site or host a message board, and you'll get people coming.
Well, with that, though, you're really just getting people that are already interested. I'm talking about just your personal friends. Do you organize what you're going to say before you go out and talk to people?
No.
You got to know your friends. I think that's the biggest thing. You got to know, if I'm going to go to my friend Kristen and try to get her into something nerdy, I got to be really precise about what I tell her, because she's not a very nerdy person. So if I really want to get her on the wagon, it's going to be really specific, the things I tell her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess to finish up on how it goes, I don't think I do organize. I think that maybe I present myself on, say, Facebook, where I have my whatever many friends, and a lot of them are not geeky, and I know that, but they see me being geeky, and they might respond with a like or something, and that kind of opens a door to potentially discussing, comics or something. And sometimes that door shuts right back. They're just like, we just liked it because, we're your friend. But, I think you have to kind of present yourself openly and honestly.
Yeah.
And maybe that opens the door.
My point on this isn't more the way that you're going to present it to somebody. It's actually all on the other person and how receptive they're actually going to be towards anything. For instance, comic books. I've never been huge into comic books, ever reading comic books or anything, and Wendell's passed along a lot of stuff to me so far. Some things I kind of like, some things it's just not for me. It's the same way that I can be so passionate about metal and then go try to talk to somebody about metal, and they'll just completely turn the other way and whatever, it's just a bunch of screaming, but if they're receptive and kind of open to it, then they can see what I love so much about it, be it the lyrics, the music, the overall way the band is. But it's more about that person having to be receptive towards new things.
What about the happy accident, like Christopher Moore?
Christopher Moore, yeah. There's always those little happy accidents. I mean, you love Christopher Moore. I love Christopher Moore. I mean, a lot of the movies, a lot of the older movies that I love, this guy has seen as well. Now I just found out you're a coach for track, and I was, in track too. I mean, it's all the little happy accidents like that.
That brings up a good point. I think sometimes it works the other way too. You can just sort of put yourself out there and decide like, okay, maybe this is the stuff I'm into. Anybody else, show of hands, and that can then form the new friendship.
Yeah.
So while friends can obviously, give, like, you can give that to your friends, you can also give that to just people and make friends. And I think that's kind of the cool thing about Geek is that there's a community for almost every interest.
Which
I
is
think
really
that's
what we
cool.
try to foster here on the show. It's the community.
Right. Oh, it's great. Absolutely. There's many flavors of Geek.
Oh, yes.
I know that if someone presents something that I didn't know about them, like Christopher Moore with Winchester, stand-up comedy with you, and I see that, I'm going to definitely acknowledge it, because you obviously told me you like Christopher Moore for a reason, and you obviously posted that for a reason. So definitely acknowledging those things when you see them, if you're interested in them, is another good way for people to connect in that way.
Right.
Because if
you can't close yourself off and expect people to know anything about you.
Apathy is the enemy of everything.
Yes.
So don't be apathetic.
Let me ask this question. This wasn't on the script, so this is just off the top of my head. Let's say you're dealing with a Amish kid on Rumspringa, which is, they don't have the electricity, and then, hey, you can introduce them to anything.
Spring break.
You personally, what is the one geek thing that you want to pass on to someone who's never been exposed to anything? What's the one thing that you want to expose somebody to, your friends for some reason, you want to expose them to something? What's your one top geek thing?
Taking them to a concert.
Which concert?
Oh God, there's so many bands that have changed. It's moody. Oh, I mean, okay, everybody's got to see Slayer once.
Okay.
Everybody should see Slayer live once.
No one's experienced music.
You should. Yeah, you should.
Right. This is what music is.
Yeah, you should see. Everybody should see Slayer at least once in their lifetime, and this is the last year to do it.
So that's your one thing that you think.
Yeah, I'll take somebody to Slayer, and then we'll just, as we talk about it beforehand, all the pre-bands, and I'll tell them all about it.
Nice. Very good. Carrie?
I know it's real general, but I mean, I would say film. I am such a film nerd.
But pick one style of film, one genre.
Okay. I mean, honestly, action films. Like, I love, like, Tarantino in particular.
Nice.
Like, Tarantino, Kubrick. Like, I am such a huge fan of, like, that kind of wacky, like, really delving into different directorial styles.
Yeah.
So Kubrick, Tarantino. There's one other one that I'm thinking of. Son of a gun. I like Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh yeah.
Such a huge fan of really diving into a good meaty movie. So
I'll take Kevin Smith.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jason?
Mm-hmm.
I would go to your local bookstore. I would buy 2 books. I would take the 2 books to my Amish friend.
Are one of them Light Force?
And I would no.
3 books.
3 books. 3 books. No,
book.
I would do 2. And I would hold the 2 books up, and in my right hand would be The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and in my left hand would be The Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. And I would say, pick one.
Nice.
And then
that's the one thing you think.
That's the one thing I would do. Pick one of those 2. And then if something sparked from there, there's a lot more to dig into.
Nice. Yeah, my number one would be, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, it's podcasts. Because you can learn about anything with podcasting. It's, I think, the greatest medium that we've had in a lot of years. Even more than YouTube, because I think that people have a better digging for information with, it's not a 10-minute video where you're looking at somebody. You have to really pay attention and listen, and people want to research that. So I would say podcasting, but that's kind of generic for me, but yeah.
Well, you can definitely go down a rabbit hole with podcasting and listen to a lot of very different podcasts. Mm-hmm. And then if something you have some sort of like in, I mean, you can become very specific as to what you want to listen to.
Yeah.
Well,
Right, like a Geek podcast you should definitely listen to.
iHeartGeek. That'd be
Right.
great.
There's
I heard
a
you.
couple really good ones I've heard. Some Geek podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a music one too
Yeah,
that I'm
I've heard
aware
that
that
one.
I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
pretty
should check
great.
out. Yeah.
Recorded
Deconstruction podcast.
And then Vote Wasted whenever we put out a show. That's all politics. You don't want to do that one because you'll probably get mad at me.
Man, I've got nothing to plug.
Right.
And on that note, let's move on to the main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, now it's time for our main event. Our main event today, we're doing this was a very broad subject we did, but our top 5 educational items in any media. This, I found out, meant a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So you're going to get a wide range of stuff that we're going to be talking about. So, as always, our top 5, and starting with number 5 for me, we are going to do the song "Word Crimes" by Weird Al. Honestly, it's a funny thing, and it is really, if you pay attention to it and you watch the video, you definitely get an education on proper grammar. I think it's just very brilliantly done without pushing it down your throat, but it's entertaining and fun, and that to me is really what you should be looking for if you're educating in media.
Cool. That's good. Yeah.
Since we just talked about Weird Al,
we should continue to talk about Weird Al.
Any reason is a good reason to talk about Weird Al.
Absolutely.
Yes. Mr. Winchester?
Yeah, so my number 5 is going to be the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Oh,
because when I was young, my brother had quite a few of them, as did I. So we actually got to read quite a few of those, and they were a lot of fun, man. I mean, get you thinking. They were all basic stories, but it gets you thinking on what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else did the same thing I did, which is, I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to go back. Hey, who's
Save
looking?
your spot
Nobody's
with your
looking.
thumb.
I'm just going to go this way. So
I would have done that, so
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, they were pretty awesome books.
I think
it's the same way when we save our game right before we know there's going to be a huge encounter in a video game these days. It's putting your thumb in the book,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like what the Telltale games do now. It's kind of the same thing with video games. But I like the book because that, honestly, I think that builds the next generation of writers, of storytellers, creative people, because it makes you be creative and not just, this is the path I'm choosing for you. No, I think I'm going to choose my own path. And I think it's cool.
Yeah. No, it's a good way to put it.
Terry, your number 5?
My number 5 was Nova Science.
I love
it's
it.
on PBS. I mean, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson, just in general, has just done such a great job at making science accessible. And I think that program, just for the fact that he's there, is a gift to humanity. Because again, it makes science accessible, it makes it approachable, it makes it not scary.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important in this this day and age of anti-intellectualism. I think that's really, really valuable.
A great way to put that.
And I think that Neil deGrasse Tyson will make a few entrances into this.
I would hope
this
so.
list
He's
today.
the man.
I watched so much Nova and National Geographic as a kid, I can't even tell you. I watched so much of that
He
stuff.
just needs to run for president.
Soaked it in.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I saw him speak live once, and I was like, if this man started a cult, I would be in 100%.
Nice.
Speaking of cults, no, I'm just kidding. That's an entirely different news
Gobble
item.
one of us.
Geek is a
Not even that one, no. Okay, Jason.
All right, so caveat here. I personalize this based on like the type of things that truly educated me about either life things in general or geek things. Mm-hmm. So my first one, my number 5, is actually kind of a dark thing. I think it is important in life to have a knowledge of the dark side, because if you don't have a knowledge of the dark side, you might not see it coming. So it is important to be educated and aware of the dark side.
Okay.
The place that I have seen, especially in contemporary times, the darkest side of humanity is in the comment threads of any social media article or subject, be it a geek fan argument or a political argument
or sports
or any kind of argument. I dive head on into comment threads because it really opens your eyes to
how bad people are.
Well, and how good people are.
Yeah.
I mean, my book that I wrote is inspired by what I read in a comment thread.
That's Light Force, by the way. It's on sale now. It's gotten great reviews. So,
Jeez, everybody
you.
pushes Jason's book today.
Thank you. She does it better than me. I might have to hire her on for voice work or
she's
something.
She's professional at doing it.
Exactly.
So it makes a little bit of a difference, you know.
No, but it's important. I think when you shouldn't do it too young. But when you reach a certain age, when you start becoming like politically aware or geek aware or all that, you should gently foray into that because you need to learn about
just a perspective.
Yeah.
Gets you out of your
Different-
bubble. I think that
different
not
perspectives.
living in that echo chamber is so important in
Right, and you
today's
talk about-
political climate.
right. You talk about anti-intellectualism.
Sort of like that.
Right.
Yeah.
There is no better place to combat that than in comment threads.
Or to expound upon it, I guess, would be another way of...
Yep.
You could you could run the risk of that. It could happen.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, my number 4 is going to be Cosmos by Carl Sagan / Neil deGrasse Tyson. So well done, especially the second one with Seth MacFarlane taking over and just putting $1 billion into it or something. That just, I mean, the Sagan original and that, I think, really, if that doesn't make you want to learn, just go sit in a room and watch YouTube all day and don't do anything else because you're never going to learn anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It just opens up so many doors. I just, again, for not to pat myself on the back here, but I think all three of those guys, Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Seth MacFarlane, their voices are so soothing. You just want to listen to them. I could listen to them talk about anything, let alone their subject matter. And it's like, it's so enjoyable.
Absolutely. And I say, and what I really respect, especially, just with Tyson, he could go political, and he does a little bit, but he doesn't. He's really just about educating, and I really appreciate that as far with a voice like that.
Yeah, and Bob Ross, rest his soul, was great for voices too.
Yeah.
Watching the guy paint. He was the best.
Cathartic. All right, so contrary to what happened in that game show earlier, I'm semi-intelligent, maybe. I am an avid reader. I do like reading.
Of course you're intelligent.
I like reading a lot, actually.
I think nobody doubts that.
Well, some people probably. No names.
Your wife.
Yeah. So, Abe Books. If you were to ever go online and look for a book, a lot of the books that I bought, I've actually researched on Abe Books. They kind of tell you the
ABE.
Yeah, ABE books. Tell you the value of the book. It's every single different incarnation of that book, I guess you can say. Be it in hardcover, softcover, collector's edition, whatever. You can find it all there.
So it's
Abe
like
Books.
a better Amazon.
It's a more focused.
Books,
yeah,
Amazon.
It's a more focused than Amazon is for their books. I mean, you could do that quick search on Amazon as well about the books, but I think Abe Books kind of gets it right on
So
that.
that's where you find like all the books for Bauman's rare books.
Yes.
And you find out why this book is worth $17,000.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
I'm never walking in this store again.
Oh,
This
yeah.
makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. So.
Carrie?
My number 4 was Planet Earth, the documentary series.
Oh, that was a good one.
I just, that's my biology major coming out. When I think I'm pretty on top of it as far as animals and the animal kingdom and just nature in general, Planet Earth always finds something that I have never frickin' heard of, that I have never even cracked the surface on.
Nice.
And I just think that that's really, it reminds you that you don't frickin' know everything.
Well, I should hope not.
Yeah.
That is an amazing show. Totally.
Oh, just incredible. Just awe-inspiring.
And
truly.
visually, it's stunning.
Oh my God. It's the first time I saw it was on somebody's home theater system, and I was seriously just in awe. Like 90% of the time I watched. It's just insane.
Nice.
Excellent.
Jason?
All right, my number 4. This will also apply to my number 1, but this is sort of a specific thing. Let's say you want to learn about the family lineage in Game of Thrones, or you want to learn about the monsters of Lovecraftian lore or things of that nature. Wikis, man, wikis, fan wikis to find those very things, superheroes, Star Wars expanded universe, all the characters, all the histories, all the events. Fan wikis and specific topic wikis. I've learned so much from those about things that I wanted to know more about.
But can't you get a lot of false information from that kind of stuff too?
You can cross-reference just to make sure.
I'm just curious.
I mean, yes.
I know that's the problem with Wikipedia.
Honestly, Wikipedia is the same way, but I don't have an issue with Wikipedia because more often than not, doing some cross-referencing, it's pretty close to right.
When we did do the villains, which we won't reference any more of, that the fandom wiki page was it's all about villains.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can look up on there what their strength, what their weakness, background information, everything like that.
Right.
So, yeah, and that one's a lot of fun to look at, actually.
Yeah, and honestly, so far, I have not found too many inaccuracies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've gotten into Pathfinder recently with a group of friends of mine, and I'm trying to figure out the world and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Wiki has been incredibly valuable for that, because figuring out how far things away from other things.
All that stupid detail that most people go
my god!
black at,
and
but
people are into it
totally.
enough to make a huge Wiki page. So
yep, awesome,
nice. Edit. Hey, Trey, get the dog, please. Makes it easier for me to edit it out when we do that stop thing. And lock it or shut the door. Thank you, Trey. And edit in. Okay, we're on number 3. That would be, once again, another Neil deGrasse Tyson thing is Star Talk, the podcast. I don't like the live show very much. It's the exact same thing, but I prefer the audio medium. It's just so brilliant and so just deep in the subject. And the way he talks, you can understand it no matter how dumb you are. That's from me. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I can get everything he says, and that is just a great educator. And that's why you should listen to it. I don't care how smart you are, you will learn from that.
And it's exactly what we talked about earlier with, I think the Neil deGrasse Tyson's gift is that he not only knows all this stuff, but he can relay it to the common man. I think that's so important.
Well, it's been said he's not a scientist, he's an educator.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice. All right, my number 3, and kind of in contrast to Jason's, Twitter. But no, I don't hate it. I just don't interact a whole lot on Twitter. It's more
you lurk.
I don't lurk, except for a few pages that we will discuss on a family-friendly show. No, Twitter is a great thing to get updates on people writing books. I never would have known that Mark Duplass and his brother Jay Duplass wrote a book. If you know who those guys are. Or Bloody Discussing, the website that all the horror stuff, all their toys and everything coming out, all the concerts coming up, all the bands that you follow, everything like that. I mean, it's a wealth of information for if you want to know anything, and it just seems to be Twitter is where they put it all out first.
And Twitter's where you can find out if the Knights are having practice, which are always open to the public. Sorry, I just wanted to throw in that.
No, and exactly.
The Stanley Cup playoffs right now for this show. That's
well,
how much I love y'all.
You don't have live TV.
And there is a lot
so.
of book stuff on Twitter, like Light Force, for instance. Light Force, all over Twitter.
Yeah. But Twitter is good. Just stay away from all the comment section. You just
or go if you want to learn something,
or want to be stupefied.
Feel badly about your well-being.
My number 3 was Magic Frickin' School Bus. Everyone,
nice.
I mean, forget about it.
She was a time lord.
It strikes a special chord with me. Like, you go into your classroom, you saw the TV cart sitting in there, you knew it was going to be a magic day, probably with Miss Frizzle. And I mean, Lily Tomlin was at the forefront of making that into a show. And obviously, I love Lily Tomlin. I'm a fan of a lot of female comics, and she as Miss Frizzle and just that program in general was it's our first, a lot of kids' first delving into being interested in science.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, in this day and age of anti-intellectualism, is
very well done.
Thank you.
Third time reference today.
Is really, really important. So,
Nice.
I mean, I think that show is always revisitable. I mean, I think even as Kate McKinnon is heading up the reboot,
Nice.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Our videos were actually, and I don't think anybody put it on any of theirs, I don't know, but Bill Nye. It was always reruns of Bill Nye that we had for our video days.
Oh.
Cool. Anti-intellectualism. There, I said it without
There you-
stumbling.
oh my
There you
God,
go.
well
Excellent.
done,
All right.
well done.
Thank
Practice
you.
makes
I'm here all
perfect.
week.
We edited that 28 times.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Shut up! You're not
Secret movie
ignore
magic.
that man behind the curtain. All right. So personally, for me, a place where I got a huge education in geekdom in general, and I've only been to 6 of them, but that's comic conventions.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about my tribe in that setting.
Yeah.
And you get to get close to sometimes some of the real deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like Neil Adams.
Yeah.
And lots of Todd McFarlane, guys you get to get close to and
I'd love to meet him.
meet them as real people. And again, I told the story of Peter David going to his table and going, "Oh, no one's here. Why are they not paying attention to you?" Because he's a fabulous comic guy writer. So
Yeah.
conventions.
Nice. My number 2 was the first, the show that actually did more for my education when I was a kid than Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street or anything, and that was Reading Rainbow. That spoke to me, and I still don't get why, but it just worked.
Because it was musical.
It worked for my mind. Yeah, the music in it, the stories. I mean, I was always loved to be. I
That
loved
intro
reading.
song still strikes like
Butterfly
euphoric
in the sky.
something.
Yeah, love it. It's a great. Just the way it was just set up, and it's a shame that it wasn't. They stopped making it.
They didn't make my list, but Sesame Street and Electric Company for when my kidness, was same kind of deal for that.
Nice. Pardon me. Mine's going to be a Dan Patrick show. I mean, no joke. I mean, I'm just a jock, so love sports, everything, and those guys, but they take it all to another level. They take it's sports, it's current events, it's whatever they like, and it's 5 people on there.
What I love about DP is all of the guys that call in all the time. Like, he has such a varied array of people who
He really
are on the
does.
show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, starting off, always it was Jim Rome. And I still love Jim Rome and everybody that calls in. And the fact that man has carried that show by himself for so many years is why I was a little hesitant with Dan Patrick, because he has a supporting cast. But it's coming to their own where they just have this whole nother kind of community, if you will, for what they do with not only sports, but everything else in the mainstream. So
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun 3 hours plus being on video or being able to watch it every day. It's fun.
Totally. My number 2 was we mentioned him already, Mr. Bob Ross. I just, as far as, again, making something accessible, making something that people kind of perceive as complicated, accessible to the masses, and making it seem, just soothing and calming. And I think that's really awesome. When I'm stressed out, I mean, I know it's Bob Ross for me.
He's the best.
And the most awesome white guy fro in the world.
Oh, top 1.
Glorious.
Sorry, no comparison.
It's as glorious as Sean Critchfield's beard. It is that glorious.
Right, it's on the level.
I don't use this phrase much, but with him I will. If you don't like Bob Ross, we have no business being friends.
Nope.
Yep,
Nope. Get out of my life. I don't need you.
Yep. All right, my number 2, though it has a lot of BS content, YouTube is a great place to actually go to learn things. You can find podcasts there. You could find DIY stuff galore
And Vsauce on
there. You could find food-related things. You could find pretty much anything you want to know. And, of course, if you're careful in discriminating, you can find it on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm probably the only person that doesn't watch YouTube on a regular basis.
Yeah,
Personally,
I
I
do a lot of music stuff on it.
Some live concerts are good on there, yeah.
Well, and sooner or later, the show will expand to YouTube. Give it a year, but I think we are definitely going to expand there.
Just got to do a couple push-ups. We'll be all right.
I got to do a lot of push-ups, man. Okay, so on to our number one round, and my number one is pretty much hands down Mythbusters.
Nice.
Yes.
Love Mythbusters. When they're wrong, they do another show about how they were wrong, and there's something to be said about that. That is brilliant that they do that, and it really teaches the scientific method. Test it, make it work, or don't, and then if you can't make it work, let's see how we could make it work.
Yeah.
Just
bizarre when I was
things.
a little younger, I got on the Japanese version of Mythbusters. I had a video on YouTube go viral of me bouncing a golf ball on a lake, and it made a weird sound. The people on the show in Japan called It's Unbelievable, which is basically like the same show, sent a crew here to Michigan to talk to me about it.
Nice.
Same kind of thing. It's pretty cool.
You have the link?
I can't actually share the link with you. It's like I said. They sent me one copy that they said don't share, otherwise we'll sue you. So
okay. Well, never mind.
It exists. It is in the ether.
Mr. Winchester.
Well, I was just gonna say the two of them and the relationship and what they have is just outstanding on there. My number one is just gonna be towards my love of metal, and it's that metal show. I don't believe that they're around. I don't think it's relevant anymore. They even have new episodes, but Eddie Trunk, which is the guy's a genius when it comes to metal. He knows everything about metal. Then you have Don Jameson and Jim Florentine, which are kind of the comedy relief, but also just huge metal fans. The guests they have on there and everything they talk about, they do history lessons and everything else. It's a really fun show.
Nice.
So,
your number one?
Top one for me, we mentioned it earlier, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Another one of those, you go into the classroom, you see the TV carts in there, you knew it was going to be, frankly, either Magic School Bus, Bill Nye, or Reading Rainbow. And Bill Nye was always my favorite. Just, again, giving kids a taste of what cool things are possible with science. And studying astronomy, I still always think about when Bill Nye was demonstrating how far away, the sun from Mercury is and how far away Pluto is from the sun, and he had to get on his bike because even on this tiny scale model it was 30 miles away. And that just really put it into perspective, and he was so good at that and still is. I think that's why he's still relevant.
Nice.
All right, so I have no desire to see the tablet reading world disappear, and I certainly have no desire for those who do audiobooks to not continue to do audiobooks because I think that both of those things
put me out of a job, man.
No, I don't want to put you out of a job. I think both of those things are great. But I'm sorry, nothing beats a book with pages and the smell and the covers and the weight. And there are so many books, and there are, but specifically fiction. Okay, be it literary or any of the genres or any of that, fiction, because that is one of the greatest things and unique thing that humans possess that no other animal does: imagination.
Nice.
And
absolutely.
Imagination
gateway
cannot die in an anti-intellectual world, which also has an.
And we have that little. Which clicker up there that says every time that we say
take a drink.
Yeah.
Right.
Ding.
Which also
drink.
But which goes hand in hand with an anti-creativity world. Imagination is the flame to light the fire of creativity.
Absolutely.
So books.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I like that, and very well said.
Very good. Okay, well that's a show. But before we close up, actually, I wanted from iHeartGeek to everybody out there that's an educator of any type. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is from all of iHeartGeek. We really mean that. If it's not for you guys, we're screwed. Thank you guys for doing what you do.
Yeah, educators are the best, no doubt.
Yeah. Thank you
thanks,
for what
guys.
you do.
Yeah, thank you for what you do.
Gary.
Even though it's in another state and everywhere else, but thank you for what you do.
If you move to Vegas, you could be a teacher here. I make mention of that every episode that she's on, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We want to see her in Vegas or at least California. Yeah.
Close.
I actually, all my friends in California, they're all high school teachers, principals, and guidance counselors.
Nice.
Yep.
I could show you the way down there.
Okay.
Okay, check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Go to the Twitter, @iHeartGeekShow. Go to the Facebook. Talk to us. We will talk back. Take the polls. Do all the other stuff. I think that's about it for this time. Until next time, I'm Dub.
I'm Mr. Winchester.
I'm Carrie.
I'm PB&Jason. Keep on geeking on.
I learned something.
Woohoo!
You've been listening to iHeartGeek. Our Twitter account is @iHeartGeekShow. Hope you enjoyed the show.